You mean the estate in the Nigerian side?
In the Nigerian side?
Yes, we are there.
That's where you live. You still want the Bakkassi Peninsula to be a part of Nigeria?
There is no place as good as home.
That is what you're asking for?
Yes, so that our people who are back there could be... I have relations back there. This issue have disjointed families.
Did you have issues? Did you have situations where families, I mean, like those who remained, who chose? Because I'm sure some people chose.
A lot of people
chose to remain back.
Yes.
Did they choose to remain back, knowing that that land now belongs, or as it stands, it still belongs to Cameroon, and that, you know, their identity as Nigerians could be shaken?
Sorry, come again.
I'm saying that as the land stands presently, as Bakkassi Peninsula stands presently,
yes,
it is a part of Cameroon. And the people who chose to stay knew that their identity as Nigerians might conflict with the fact that they're living on Cameroonian soil.
Yes, yes.
So they are aware of some of the risks that they were taking,
yes,
or that they are presently taking.
Yes.
What exactly are you recommending? What did you tell those people? Were there issues of divisions within families?
Yes, there were issues of division in families, disjointed divisions, you know. These people remaining in the peninsula now think that remaining there, some of them are old. They say, oh, my child, you can go and have your way of life, but for me, I'll remain here and die here and be buried here, as the case is, you know. So those are the people that really need the attention of the Nigerian government to secure their fundamental human rights.
Okay, but what do you think? All right, we'll go for the headlines and come back and continue on this one. Matthew Bani standing by with the headline news.
Right, Chamberlain, and here are the headlines we're tracking this hour. The looming strike action by the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers has been called off. Members of NUPENG and the federal government officials deliberated for over 6 hours on Thursday, after which they came to the resolutions. In a statement by all the parties involved, after the meeting, the Minister of Labour, Mr. Emeka Wogu, said it was resolved after all the issues raised over subsidy payments, non-payment of salaries and other issues will be looked into and reviewed in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the National Economic Council has recommended the federal government's decision to arrest and prosecute all the oil marketers who were wrongly paid subsidy money. The Anambra State Governor, Mr. Peter Obi, who briefed State House correspondents after the meeting, alongside his Akwa Ibom State counterpart, Mr. Godswill Akpabio, said that from the reports presented to the council, some of the companies have started refunding the money. The NEC also agreed to organize a non-partisan good governance publicity tour to showcase federal and state projects across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. To another impending industrial action, the Nigerian Union of Teachers has threatened not to resume the new academic session in September if the federal government does not implement the 27.5% teachers' peculiar allowance. The president of the union, Mr. Michael Olukoya, at a meeting with the Minister of Education, noted that the federal government had reneged on its promise since the matter was resolved on the 6th of August 2008. On her part, the Minister of Education, Professor Rukayat Rufai, admitted to several lapses, promising to address issues of welfare packages to prevent a breakdown of the nation's education system. And the federal government has reiterated its commitment to strengthen the power sector to efficiently deliver adequate, qualitative, reliable and affordable power in a deregulated market. This assurance was given by Vice President Namadi Sambo in Abuja at the launch of the Sustainable Energy for All initiative, a collaborative effort by the Minister of Power and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. Mr. Sambo said the federal government will exploit all power generation sources to achieve this, beginning with the construction of the large Mambila hydropower plant and the Zungeru power plant. On the foreign scene, Anders Breivik, the Norwegian man accused of killing 77 people in Oslo and the island of Utøya, will know his fate today when a Norwegian court sits to give its verdict on the matter. The panel of 5 trial judges will have to rule on Breivik's sanity when they deliver their verdict. Their conclusion will determine whether he is given a long prison sentence or sent to a secure psychiatric ward. The 33-year-old, who insists that he isn't not insane, has refused to plead guilty and has sought to justify his attacks by saying they were necessary to stop the Islamization of Norway. Prosecutors have called on him to be considered insane. Those are the headlines this hour.
All right, thank you, Amarachi. Well, let's round off on this one. And just before we do that, there are those who think, Mr. Ani, that this matter is being resurrected more so because of the recent Supreme Court ruling, which ceded 76 oil wells from Cross River State to Akwa Ibom State. And by the way, they say that those 76 oil wells lie to the west, and as such, Cross River State couldn't have gotten them in the first place. And so they see some connection there.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't think that is true because, as I've said here already, the Bakkassi people have always have been in court before now, trying to stop the seeding. Not one case. 2, we wrote to the Senate trying to stop the seeding. The Senate also rose to it. 3, if this issue is because of the Supreme Court judgment, I think we will not be doing justice to the Bakkassi people who really needs the Nigerian people. But I think that, first, this Supreme Court judgment have added more burden to Cross River State, because in the lean resources that we have already had with the kind of landmass we have in the state, and then for this Supreme Court judgment to slam down this kind of judgment on us is unfair to Cross River State. 2, if, for example,
Go ahead.
If, for example, I don't understand why the Supreme Court will come after that. Look at the Green Tree Agreement. Has not been domesticated by the National Assembly. So everything that has to do with the maritime boundaries, the delimitation of boundaries, could be considered illegal.
Okay.
So where did the Boundary Commission come out with a new, meanwhile the Mixed Commission is still trying to demarcate the boundaries between Nigeria and Cameroon? They have not yet finished. So where did the law get this instrument to to give this judgment that have increased the problem of the Bakkassi man?
Remember, it was Cross River State that went to court. Akwa Ibom State said they didn't go to court on this matter. They only had to go and respond. And so Cross River State was the one that went to court, and they lost the case. That's
why I'm saying that Cross River State was seeking justice, believing that everything that has to do with this is still ongoing. So they have not put the final dots to the boundary issue between Nigeria and Cameroon. Now the Supreme Court has already drawn a boundary between Nigeria and Cameroon. Meanwhile, the Mixed Commission that is saddled with the demarcation of the boundaries between Nigeria and Cameroon is still doing its work. And we don't know where that will end. But the Supreme Court of Nigeria has already drawn the boundaries between Nigeria and Cameroon. How is that possible? Okay. That's what we're saying. Okay, beyond that, what about that's for Cross River State. What about for Bakkassi people? Before now, the companies operating in the peninsula had some corporate social responsibility to the people of Bakkassi. They were paying royalties to the chiefs of Bakkassi. They were also sponsoring people in education outside this
doesn't
country.
That happen anymore?
It stopped.
No, but for those of them who came into Nigeria, why can't they give it to them continuously?
No, that is why I'm saying that this document, we should revisit this document to address this issue. Now, if the Bakkassi Peninsula is still where it is, the platforms for which the companies are drilling are still where they are with the same license, and now you stop the responsibilities you had to those environments around you.
Same license for given to them by the Nigerian government.
Same license. They are still using it. You understand? And then you suddenly stop your social corporate responsibility to this community. Then we must look at this document again, how it will impact on the people on ground, because they are the first people that bear the burden of the exploitation.
Okay.
You know.
Is it true that, because I mean, you spoke about the lean resources they had being compounded with this judgment. Is it also true then that the Akwa Ibom State government has reached out to Cross River State saying, listen, there's nothing wrong in speaking, because I think they say some time ago they had approved some sort of monthly payment to Cross River State in order to mitigate this problem, and so to sort that out?
See, for us in Bakkassi, we don't want this problem to look like we have a problem with Akwa Ibom people. We don't want people to use this to insinuate problems between us and Akwa Ibom people. I know that when we are talking about Bakkassi from Cross River State, the Cross River State deals with Bakkassi with all the Nigerians. Most of the people that we negotiated to be removed from Cameroonian jails are from Akwa Ibom. You know, we did not ask whether they were Cross Riverians or Akwa Ibom, but we want to use these 76 oil wells to bring problems between two sister states. But I believe that these things will be redressed, you know, that will bring peace amongst the two sister states. So the issues are that the documents, the peninsula issue should be revisited so that the people should be protected, the environment should be protected, their history should be protected. That's what we are saying.
What about the naval base? Is the naval base still there in that area?
I can confess that since I've already said it here that this is not the first time we are agitating. We stood at the public hearing in the Senate saying these things. The Nigerian Navy also were at the public hearing. We were confronted with this issue. They gave genuine reasons why the place should not be ceded. And now the base in Calabar do no longer take big ships. I think that place has become a naval workshop or something. You know, just that the administration of Eastern Naval Command is going on. But to say that we still see big ships coming into Calabar naval base is not true. I can see naval frigates going around in the channel, you know, but big ships no longer sail into Calabar Channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you have stated three things in the Green Tea Agreement. You know, that either the people who are staying on that land become Cameroonians, the people who you can either become stay Nigerians and live under Cameroonian law, or they come back home. You know, from your own assessment, what was the feeling of majority of those people who had to sign the Green Tea Agreement, or what was the feeling of the residents concerning the Green Tea Agreement and the options provided?
Yes, the options provided did not really protect the Bakkassi man and woman. So the feeling is still that he still needs your protection, he still needs your attention to the details. If you allow the Bakkassi person to be in the negotiating thing, this will not come out. Even if you want to go and buy a land,
I want to ask you a quick, your quick opinion. What other things do you think should have been added, or what other options do you think should have been provided in that particular agreement?
They are enormous. That's why we're saying we should go back. Look, we have our flora and fauna. It's being affected. There are some species of aquatic culture that we may never see again. Those things have to be protected.
And you think that if the land comes back to Nigeria, it will make it easier for it to be protected?
Yes, it will. If the land comes back to Nigeria, or Nigeria goes back to the negotiating table, they will come out with more detail and more precise agreement than this empty Green Tea Agreement.
And you say that is possible? Nigeria can win this case if they go back to it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, if Nigeria should go back to the negotiating table, they will come back to something better for the Bakkassi person.
All right, then Esin is a former chairman, Bakkassi local government area, and he's of the Save Bakkassi group. All the best in your endeavors. And thank you for coming on this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, we're back in just a moment. Don't